Good morning. Shh, 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 shh. Hello, hello. Question for the room. Do we have any criminals in? Serious question. Show of hands. Okay, so good morning. My talk is about dumb stuff cybercriminals have done. I'll be a wee bit quick at the start because I know we lost some time there due to my crappy laptop. I'm Scott. I do stuff. I currently work at National Grid as head of Siemens Solar Engineering. It's a title that they keep changing. I used to do some work with the police a couple of years ago, and that's why I'm kind of semi-qualified to talk about this today. A couple of things, just want to set some ground rules and some stuff we won't talk about. Sabu, boring, it's been done to death, Dread Pirate Roberts, all that kind of stuff. These are all things that have been done to death. What I do want to talk about is stuff of where I've been in the room when it happened. Disclaimer, don't do crime. Please don't do crime. I can't believe I have to put in a disclaimer slide, but don't do crime. Just a quick question. Do we have any under 18s in the room? Because I know I built this as a 15, but then I was putting stuff together last night going, oh, this will be funny. Good. Okay, I can swear. You haven't had enough sweary Scotsmen this morning, so I need to beat Andy Gill's fuck count. Okay, so, no, not like that. So, first up, I want to talk about a couple of dumb criminal stories. The first ever interaction I ever had with a phishing site was Fools. Does anyone know what fools.txt is, or is it vaguely aware? I see some heads nodding. Yes, I see some hands. It's quite cool. So, a couple of years ago, I got a phishing email or text or whatever format came through, and it was like, hey, this is totally the bank, and click this link and come on the site. And I went on the site and realized it was a really, 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 really bad phish. Decided to do that thing you do where you start taking away, index.php and start doing directory traversal. Oh, hello. That's nice. You'll notice there that there's banks.txt, errorlog, .log, fools.txt, ips.txt, and tsp.zip. Started finding a lot of these phishing kits. So, being young and dumb, I was like, oh, I'm curious. Let's open the big list and look at all the people that put their information in. Yeah, all this stuff was publicly available. They were just dumping it to a text file so they could easily access it. No authentication, nothing. Kind of dumb as well because they left their phishing kit actually open. So I collect these things now. It's quite common for them to upload a phishing kit and leave the .zip file there for a phishing site. So you can download it, have a look, start to fingerprint it. And interestingly enough, in a lot of the phishing kits, the first demo sample data they use is their own, the phish kit's creators' data, including their home IP address. Yeah, don't dump to plain text. So any criminals in the room, don't dump to plain text, please. Next story, from Russia with Love. I've never done a war stories type talk, so I always wanted to do one, so apologies for all the images, they're all shitposty. Does anyone remember this when it came out? No? Vaguely, yeah. So a couple of years ago when the Winter Olympics were happening in Sochi, Channel 4 decided to release an advert that basically was called Gay Mountain. It was hilarious. Please go and watch it. It is fabulous. Okay, so at the weekend, I like to do dumpster diving. I like to sit there and go through buckets. Again, is there any kids in the room? Cool. You end up seeing a lot of dicks. Genuinely, you see a lot of dicks. Guys, please stop taking pictures of your dicks. I'm fed up seeing pictures of dicks. But open buckets are a thing. We're all aware of them. We all know that open buckets are a problem. So I tend to go and find open buckets, find what they look like, try and track down an owner, email the company involved and go, hey, you probably want this to be private. One such bucket I came across, though, had a lot of Russian in it. Now, just now, that's quite interesting. So I was like, I wonder who this belongs to. Because, even though the Russian wars or the Ukrainian war is going on and everybody has mixed up feelings towards Russia, especially in our industry, I was like, let's still try and track down the owners because this is all dating-y stuff. It belonged to a Tinder rival, basically, in Russia. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. Let's go and track them down. The problem was that there was a number of people on the application that were using it to scam people, but my Russian's really rusty, but yeah, I got rickrolled so much just going through all the chat logs. But the interesting thing was that there was a number of messages on there that were sextortion. So criminals would reach out to a new person on the app and say, "Hey, send me a picture. What's your Instagram handle? What's your mum's name?" And then try and force them to give up money because they were like, "Hey, if you don't give me money, I'm going to tell your mum that you are a creep," effectively. The thing was, though, there wasn't just one person on the app. There was multiple different people on the app that were using fake profiles to scam newcomers, but they were all using the app to talk amongst themselves, which was really, really bizarre. So I don't know if the sound's going to come through. I hope it does, but this is what I'm going to refer to as Russian Pizzagate. Now, bear in mind, a bunch of criminals on this dating app using fake profiles to talk amongst each other. I'm going to call this Russian Pizzagate. They use the app to do the following: order pizza to their home address and take pictures of the pizza delivery. By the way, if anybody knows the Spider-Man 2, like digga, that's all playing in the background. They used yeah, I'll keep doing that. They also used their own loyalty cards in their own names. They also ordered Ubers to each other's houses, going, "Hey, bro, when you going to turn up? I don't know, bro, but I'll send you my location in Uber." They also booked flights for each other, which is amazing. So they sent all this passport and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's smart. Yeah. What? Like, again, what the fuck? Right, seriously? Do crime better, guys. Yeah, I'll keep going. So, my third big story is quite a fun one. In 2017, if anybody's aware, the Met Police got hacked on Twitter. Does anyone remember this at the time? Yeah, there's a couple of people that remember this. So, I was sitting in my couch, and my wife turned around to me and said, "The Met Police is tweeting really weird things. You might want to have a look." I'm like, okay. Now, bear in mind, at that time, I was kind of involved with the police, so I had lines of communication to the Met, and we were chatting away about it. I'll skip to the end, and then I'll fill in the blanks in the middle. They basically got compromised through a third party. So it was a third-party My News Desk application that got breached, effectively, or the password got doxed. We're not entirely sure. But the point is, when you post something on the My News Desk website, which the Met used to put out news, basically, bulletins kind of things, because that went to journalists and also cross-posted to Twitter. The quote-unquote criminals found the login for this and found that linked through to Twitter, so they would use that to their advantage. Now, when my wife shouted at me from the bedroom going, "Scott, there's weird things going on Twitter," that I didn't cause, I was expecting this, right? I'm expecting the Met Police's Twitter account, 1.2 million followers, to go "Good evening London, V for Vendetta" style. What did we get? Cal is gay. Cal is gay. Cal is gay. Wow. Okay. But no, I was sitting there reading it, just going, "Free Digga D on phone amp." Like, it's like, guys, you had a golden opportunity there. Like, come on. Not endorsing crime at all, but I would come up with something better than "What you going to do? Phone the police. We are the police." I did actually quite like that one. We are the police. Cal and Dylan are gay. Lol. That still makes me chuckle to this day. But there was a couple of things in there that was quite interesting, like the chuckling hella hashtag, all that kind of stuff. But Xeon is the best fighter in Scotland. No, he isn't. He? It's me. No, I'm joking. Really? Even Donald Trump had got in the mix as well. Like, Katie Hopkins and Donald Trump, they're all tweeting about this, going, "Hey, I think this is quite ironic as well that Donald Trump decided to weigh in on the fact that the Met Police's Twitter account got pawned because his got done twice." Yeah, MAGA 2020 ! Is not a good password, pal. But yeah, so Finally, for the first time ever, I get to dox this story live and publicly. The reason why I haven't done so to date is because one of them lives 10 minutes away from my house, and I've just moved. Smart. And my address, I'm not doxing it this time. So, I was browsing Twitter, and the Met Police did the weird, Cal is gay thing. It's hilarious to think that the police were tweeting about Cal being gay, but okay. I'm still dying from that. But you do that thing where you go on Twitter. If anybody's ever done OSINT, you go on Twitter and you look around and you're like, hey, who's talking about this? What are they doing? Notice this tweet by someone called, we will refer to as Dan, going, hey, 1 minute I'm playing a video game with them, and the next minute they're hacking the police. Jesus! And you're like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what that's all about. Start digging through the Twitter a little bit more, gathering information, gathering intel, and then we sit there and go, hey, wait a minute. He's live streaming just now. I'm going to watch that. So we started watching the live stream. Now, Dan wasn't involved, to be fair, but his pals started joining what they thought was a private PlayStation party voice chat and talking, which was getting broadcast to the entire world. Please note the police car at the top. I thought that was the pinnacle on the top. So I was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. This is quite fun. They streamed it for 6 hours. 6 hours worth of just random chat. Now, hats off to the guy that was live streaming, the guy we shall call Dan. It's not his real name. Because he sat there on live stream, and as more of the people who did the Met Police Twitter hack joined, he would go, so who all logged in? Where did you get the password? Who tweeted what? Did you use a VPN? What laptop did you use? He asked all the questions we were going to ask in an interview scenario. It was fantastic. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. You're a good guy. Yeah. Give up for Dan. Dan is awesome. So, a little bit more information as well. They were all gamers, and they all loved playing Call of Duty. I've never played Call of Duty, but that's just me. But one of the things they would do is they would put proofs up. I didn't know this was a thing. So if someone didn't join a ranked match or a paid for match, they would put up this proof video. Now, as they were on this live stream, they started doxing each other, and they were like, hey, what's your full name again? Because I want to send you something in the post. So I had all these full names, Twitter handles, all that kind of stuff, and found a YouTube channel where one of the people decided to put up a proof, but it had his SSID. So we have Wiggle. If anybody doesn't know Wiggle, it's awesome. So we managed to track and trace this guy down to his exact house, and we found that he was switching between his house and his grandmother's house. My favorite part of this entire case, though, was he didn't use his own laptop. He used his girlfriend, or as he says, my bird's laptop. It was a pink monstrosity. When he got raided, and obviously all the devices got seized, she was pissed because she didn't have her laptop, and all her uni stuff for college work was on there, and he still had his laptop. Dumb move by the police, by the way, not confiscating his laptop, but that's another matter. I don't know whether it's going to come through, but my favorite thing was one of these proofs that they put up was a wee clip video, and all you hear in the background is, let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Might need to be quiet. Definitely can't hear it. So I will recount it. Basically, this is just a 30-second clip that someone put up on their Twitch thing to show that someone didn't turn up. Fine. It's one of the people involved in the Twitter hack. Fine. But he has someone on the call goes, "Oi, Jay, who's that guy you added me into a group with on Snapchat?" And he goes, "Oh, that's Messiah. His name's Jay too." And the guy goes, "Who the fuck's Messiah?" And he goes, "My hacker pal." It fucking killed me. That get played out in court. All this crap just get played out in court. It's super, super fun. So yeah, dumb story, but you wouldn't live stream a confession. So any criminals in the room, honestly, don't live stream your confession, man. Jesus. It's not just criminals though. So I was having a chat with a couple of people on the drive down about SteelCon, and I came up with this phrase, and it completely escapes me, but there's a difference between criminally stupid and stupidly criminal. And some of the things I've seen within policing is stupid. So, my first ever experience with law enforcement, I think it's worthwhile talking about it, because I already told you the story about the fools.txt. I was staying with my parents. I was quite young. Well, younger. I'm not quite young, but quite younger. And I found the Fools database with, I think it was like 30,000 people's credit card information, dates of birth, addresses, all that crap. And I was like, oh God, this is bad. So what do? I pick up the phone and I'll phone the police. Strathclyde Police, can we help you? I was like, yeah, I have 30,000 people's bank details. So, yeah, I've got 30,000 people's bank details. And what are you going to do with it? I was like, nothing. I want to let you know that this is a problem. I tried to explain it to the lady on the phone. Call handlers are call handlers. They're not cyber people. They're not techies. And back then, Police Scotland didn't even exist. It was Strathclyde Police. They were all like distinct forces, kind of like what you got in England. And they were just so confused about what I was phoning them with. They were like, are you saying that you hacked this site? I'm like, no, it's fine. And she was like, okay, what's your address? Sure. Like, I didn't know what a crime report looked like. So I'm like, yeah, this is my address. And your full name? It's this. Okay. What's your phone number? What time are you going to be in your house? 9 to 5, probably. Two of Police Scotland's finest turned up, fully kitted out. We hear you might have breached the Data Protection Act. My mother shat herself. It was so fun. She's just sitting on the couch and the two cops are sitting either side of her and she's just kind of like that the entire time. It was super fun. It was not fun. But here's the thing though. They asked what actually happened and they turned around and said, yeah, we're just not capable of dealing with that. We don't know how to deal with that kind of crime. I'm like, look, there's 30,000 victims here. Can you not reach out to them? Yeah, we don't have manpower for that. It's like, okay. This is probably in the region of 10 or 15 years ago. And I was like, look, where do I report this? Because you're the police. You're meant to help with this. And they turned around and went, just delete the data off your laptop, mate, and it'll be fine. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. There's 30,000 people, and the thing was still going. Like, the phishing scam was still going round. It was still scooping up a shit ton of people's details. And I'm like, guys, you need to do something. Just delete it. Right, see you later. That was it. Absolutely dumb. Luckily, the police are getting better, but it was an eye-opener for me. And when I get the opportunity to work for the police a couple of years ago, I kind of always remember this story and just be like, yeah, you guys need a lot of help. This is a good one. So, back to this one. When we were doing all the evidence gathering and speaking to a couple of the detective inspectors that were on the case, so we recorded the entire live stream, 6 hour worth of footage, dumped 6 gig or something like that. It was ridiculous size. We phoned the DI and said, hey, look, we've got video evidence, and basically it's a confession, right? She was like, oh, this is amazing. This is great. This is going to be an easy conviction. And I'll come back to the conviction thing in a minute because I think it's really important. But this is going to be an easy conviction. We're going to get these guys in jail. I'm like, yeah, we'll talk about that later. But you might need to wear headphones and just be really careful because they're playing Call of Duty. She was like, okay, what's Call of Duty? Is that like a TV show? Like, no, they're live streaming on Twitch. What's Twitch? Fuck, okay. Right, so it's a thing online where people broadcast video games. Why would you do that? I'm like, right, this is, bear in mind, this is the same DI that asked me, why were you looking at the Met Police's Twitter site on a Friday night? It's like, because I'm really sad. But I am really sad. If anybody's met me, you know this. But the best part was, I did warn her. I said, look, you're going to have to wear headphones and just be careful of the volume because they're playing Call of Duty. There's loads of explosions and guns and do we need firearms? I'm like, what? And she was like, I'll get tactical on this. I'm like, what? Fucking calm down. Jesus Christ. There's so many dumb things that happened throughout that entire case. And to wrap that one up, That was the wrong conviction. They sentenced those two kids with the Computer Misuse Act, and they were just dumb teenagers doing digital vandalism. Like, come on. They broke into the Met Police's Twitter site and said, yeah, Cal is gay. That's, like, they could have tweeted about a bomb. They could have tweeted the Queen was dead. They could have brought the entire place the entire country into complete ruin, caused chaos, and what did they do? Cal is gay. Computer Misuse Act, Section 2, slap. 10 years, you can't go to America. That's stupid. I spent a lot of time in the police, making enemies within the police, telling them that this kind of shit needs to be better. I know Mike Thompson, I was meant to be speaking today, but he spent a lot of his time in meetings talking about the Computer Misuse Act. It is woefully inadequate and stupid. It's utterly stupid. We need to fix it. We need to get the police to learn. Well, not the police, but Thank you. We have a different one in Scotland because we like to do everything differently. Another dumb story. Back when I first started working with the police, I got invited along to a dinner with someone from Crimestoppers. And they were like, hey, do you want to be like, the cyber guy? And we can reach out to kids and be cooler? Because I don't think we're that cool. I'm like, okay, I'm not that cool, but sure. Long hair tattoos apparently equals cool. Good to know. So I signed up to Crimestoppers. It's the quickest job I've ever been hired and fired from. I was hired and fired within 2 hours, and here's the story, because this is dumb. So, So, I joined Crimestoppers. I got given a login to their intranet, which was public. Don't ask. The IT guy was one of these classic IT guys where it was the guy that basically ran all of Crimestoppers intranet was one of these classic IT guys that was probably a genius 20, 30 years ago, and he's just never left that era, right? The long, silvery, grey hair, looks like Gandalf, probably speaks like Gandalf too. I have no memory of this place kind of deal. Yeah, that. He sent me a login and a password. Password was password 123, by the way. I thought it was quite funny. So I logged into the site and was like, wait a minute. The cookie is sequential. So I changed the cookie, and all of a sudden I was logged in as an admin. And I was like, oh, that's bad. So I contacted the guy. I was like, hey, so I logged in and immediately fucked around with your site. This is bad. You might want to fix it. And the response I got back was, first, it's an intranet, no one's able to find it. And I'm like, okay, we're going down that route. I was like, okay, it's public. I think it's also intranet.crimestoppers.com. And I was like, don't think that works. Yeah, they've taken it down now, don't worry. And then I got this email from the head of Crimestoppers. It was the most beautiful email I've ever received. Due to the security incident you caused, so anyone who knows me knows that I like picking a good fight. And I got up off the sofa, walked through to my office, sat down and went, right, who's going to get a bollocking this time? I had so much fun. So yeah, I was hired and fired by Crimestoppers in 2 hours. The entire email exchange is still going on, by the way. The guy occasionally still sends me really angry emails. It's super fun. I just like responding going, can you rephrase that? Or why though? I am such an asshole. Look, there's a lot of dumb shit out there and a lot of dumb stuff criminals and cops have done. But there is a lot of really, really cool interactions. Namely, my first ever holy shit moment was the Dutch National Police. Is anyone Dutch in the room? No? No? Yeah. Dutch National Police are awesome. The policing unit that I was part of, we showed the Dutch National Police it once and went, hey, you guys should do it like a cybercrime, like getting hackers into the police. And they went, okay. Disappeared. And then 6 months later, they have a well-renowned international program with basically anybody in the Dutch hacker space that you can think of is part of their program and is awesome, and they're actively solving crimes. It took us 2 years to put together a program that then ended up in embezzlement. Like, genuinely. Like, the Dutch National Police are absolutely awesome. They have a conference every year called the DEX, the DEX. I don't know exactly what it stands for. My Dutch is crap. But it's so cool. It's like 1,400 cops in a room, and they're all just eager to learn and listen to us. And you're like, holy shit. Whereas, Police Scotland, like, they're flipping a coin, like, who's champing the door? You. There is another dumb story that's really, really dumb. But it was a really nice engagement with, I think it was Surrey or Sussex. The entire story is dumb, but see the way the police reacted? It was awesome. There's a website called Virtual Bumblebee. The police put it together as proceeds of crime, or, when you go somewhere and then you seize assets and stuff. Who seizes assets in the room? Yeah, exactly. So, you know how when the police go and seize assets, basically they hold on to them and try and find the original owner. Maybe it's a bike that's been stolen or something. They decided, in their infinite wisdom, let's put it on a kind of eBay-type clone, and we'll get this development company from the 80s to build the damn thing. And it'll be really insecure, and it'll be awesome. So I found this website and was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Let me go and do the cookie trick. Yeah, I did the cookie trick. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so what else is in the cookies, or what's in the session data? Fannied around with that a wee bit and figured out that I could order every single bike that was on the site. There was about 30,000 bikes, and tried to get them delivered to my house, which was super fun. I did that, did a proof of concept, phoned the cops, and I was really, really timid because, bear in mind, my first interaction with law enforcement was 2 plods at my door going, we think you might have broken the, Data Protection Act. And I'm like, no. So I was a wee bit apprehensive. I did phone a friend of mine who said, hey, look, I think I know someone at that force. Let me phone them. Don't worry about it. You'll remain anonymous unless if they're super cool, then I'll dox your name. If they're assholes, then I won't. I was like, you're a good friend. I like you. So they did that. And I got this phone from a private number, a phone call from a private number. I was like, oh shit. And it was like, this is DI so-and-so. Oh shit, here we go. That was awesome. That's honestly what you said. That was awesome. There is no way that should have happened. But it did. You ordered 30,000 bikes to your house for free. I think I even charged the site because you could fiddle about with the this was a couple of years ago now, but you could fiddle about with the prices. So I put all negatives in. So it was like billing themselves. It was super fun. The site was called Virtual Bumblebee, and the company that made it was super pissed. But then obviously you've got a independent researcher and the police. Again, there's no kids in the room. Spit roasting that company. It was super fun because they were pissed, but they couldn't say anything because they knew how insecure it was. But they were billing the police through the nose for it. Idiots. Awesome interaction. I'm still friends and class him as a friend now with the officer that phoned me to say, hey, that was awesome. How can we make this better? Holy shit, we don't get that at all. Like, there's a big difference from the 2 plods turning up and, the data protection shit. We need to keep trying. The policing unit I was part of, if anybody's seen my Twitter feed, there is a big post that I put out a couple of years ago. It ended up in what I believe to be embezzlement. It's going through the courts at the moment. Basically, we ran this group pretty successfully. We had 60 to 80 hackers that were wanting to work for the police and solve crimes. We did during that time, so about 2 years. They then decided to pull in idiots, middle managers, retirees from the police at senior level, ex-chief constables that just didn't have a clue what cyber was. I shit you not, I went to one conference where one of the guys literally played a 12-minute video as part of his presentation. It was just like going, cyber. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I honestly was super confused. He also photoshopped my face onto loads of movie things because I don't know what. It was a really bizarre. I'll find the video and tweet it out. It's so weird. If you're going to Photoshop my face onto stuff, don't make it Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Really? But no, I used to be part of this policing team, and the idea was we were going to solve crime with the police and get the police used to hackers. And we did a couple of hackathons. We did some really cool shit. We did some awesome work. Some of the hackathons we put together, ANPR, community-driven ANPR, which the police then ended up contracting the guy that built it during a hackathon and going, hey, we want this in-house. That's awesome. Holy shit, that was cool. But it ended up dying because the middle managers that came in to run it were being paid 650 quid a day, and I shit you not, they couldn't even turn on a phone. I'm not lying there. They couldn't turn on a phone. One of them joined a meeting once and said, I can't join Teams because my laptop has ran out of password. I thought I'd had a stroke. Like, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. We need to keep trying. I tried super hard. I pissed off a lot of people in our community and in the police. I was like this no man's land kind of individual because we would look at me and go, oh, you're a snitch. And then the police would look at me and go, hacker. Like, you just can't win. But it was worthwhile because it created a bridge and it started to open up some good friendships. I mean, even to this day, I still get calls going, yeah, we really can't tell you what it is, but if we had something that kind of looked like this and kind of worked like that, what would your technical opinion be of that? And I'm like, jail. Yeah. It's really, really cool. And some of the criminal stuff as well, that I get through, it's just super cool. We need to keep trying because at the end of the day, we're all in this to keep people safe, right? We're all in this to do cool stuff. And yes, I know the pen testers in the room, you're like, no, I just want to break stuff. Yeah, okay, go back and eat more crayons. But fine. But we're all ultimately doing this for a greater purpose, right? We're all doing this to do cool shit and to help each other out. Why are we ignoring the police? And similarly to that, is there any law enforcement in the room? Actually, genuinely. I'm not going to single you out, don't worry. I know about you. Fed. Genuinely, you need to, if there is, or if someone's going to watch this later, if law enforcement are going to watch this later, reach out to us. We are weird, but we are there to help. I would rather you reach out to us. I mean, Christ, if you have to go through an intermediary, don't go through me. No, but if you have to go through an intermediary, then do it. Find someone that you get along with or understands you and is on your wavelength, and they can translate to us because we're all weird. But I want to leave you with this thought. It's not a dissimilar group. Us and the police are very, very, very similar. I noticed this during my time. I've been on both sides. And actually, why I joined the police was somebody phoned me up and saying, hey, you seem to do a lot of moaning on Twitter. Yeah, about the police. Oh, yeah, that. Do you want to come in and give it a shot and then you can really know if you can moan? I was like, yeah, sure. So I've been in, done it, now I can moan. This is my time. But no, it's just, there's not a total dissimilarity. Wow, I need to put my teeth back in. Between us and them. Stop thinking about it as us and them. The police and us, we're both very arrogant. We like to be the smartest people in the room and we like to tell people how wrong they are. How different is that? Like, it's the exact same shit. We just need to start speaking the same language. Mudge, if anybody you know Mudge, he did an awesome talk. It was like 3 hacker stories at DEF CON a couple of years ago. Watch that. I think it's about halfway through. And he literally, I echoed his words so many times in meetings with like chief constables going, hey, you need to learn how to speak to us properly and we need to learn how to speak to you. If you walk in a room with a full body armor effectively and the handcuffs and the truncheon and shit like that, and you walk in, you're like, hey, how do fellow kids? How do fellow hackers? Like, no, don't turn up to one of our events wearing full uniform. You're going to look like a pleb. Similarly, when we turn up to your place, we're, probably going to wear a hoodie. Sorry. Yeah, I had many chats about, yeah, I know there's a group of them outside the police. Yes, I know they're all smoking joints. Can you just look at the other way, maybe? But no, go and watch Mudge's talk because it explains perfectly, way better than I ever could, about how we need to interact with the police and how they need to interact with us. And that's not just the police, it's all levels of government, law enforcement, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm a fan of short talks. I don't like boring you all to death. Don't do crime. That's it. The only thing I would say is don't do crime. If you do crime, though, please let me know so I can add another slide or 2 into this. But no, I am so happy that I actually get to dox some of those stories because it's been a few years and some of them have been sitting there. And they're super boring to me because, like, I'll go out to the pub with my mates. I'm like, did I ever tell you about the Met Police thing? Yes, every time. Like, fuck. What if I submit, talk to SteelCon and tell, like, loads of people? That would be fun. But no, thank you for coming. If anybody has any questions, please come shout me. Come say hi. You get 20 minutes back. Go and have fun. Thank you.